Right now on this Friday night in Atlanta, it is already Saturday morning halfway around the world in Hanoi, Vietnam. It's a place where a retired Air Force pilot from Marietta who fought long ago in the Vietnam War returned this week. He went back on a personal mission. He spent nearly 6 years there as a prisoner of war.
This is an incredible story. So he returned to honor the day exactly 50 years ago when he was released to freedom. And he spoke with our very own John Sherrick about that day that began his second chance at life.
At his home in Marietta, retired Air Force Colonel Wayne Waddell is at peace.
Remembering what happened 50 years ago.
Memories of the nearly 6 years he was prisoner of war in North Vietnam, along with hundreds of other Americans. Wayne Waddell had been shot down in 1967 while bombing a military railroad target. He and his fellow prisoners tortured. They refused to capitulate. And in 1973, when the U.S. and North Vietnam agreed to end the war, nearly 600 U.S. prisoners walked free, heads held high. Wayne Waddell lining up at the airport in Hanoi, hearing his name called. His first moments of freedom, March 4th, 1973.
And I looked out, and there's this big, shiny C-141 over there to the right. United States of America, and the flag.
As if home was reaching out to bring him home.
When I got to the airplane and I started up the ramp, it dawned on me, this airplane was built in Marietta, Georgia. I used to work there. I know people that worked on it. And I say not too flippantly that I could smell the red clay of North Georgia, and I knew I was headed home. And it was just a feeling of release starting then. That culminated when the aircraft commander called and said, "We are out of Vietnamese airspace." I think the airplane went up about 10 feet as everybody jumped.
There were welcome home celebrations, first at Clark Air Force Base in the Philippines. Waddell would later receive 2 Silver Stars among his commendations for gallantry in action. He came home to a changed world.
I got some of the sad news.
He found out his wife had divorced him, his father had died, and he and his 2 young children would need a long time to reconnect. He remarried, continued in active service, retiring in 1987.
And here's dear old room number 8.
And in 1994, Waddell invited his children to go with him to Hanoi, showing them what it was like in the prisons and seeking reconciliation with his captors.
I'm looking forward to it.
Now 87 years old, Wayne Waddell knew he had to return to Hanoi in gratitude for his life after the war that for him began on March 4th, 1973. He and a former cellmate, Ed Hubbard from Florida, revisited Wallow Prison, the infamous Hanoi Hilton, now a tourist attraction. Wayne Waddell's mission now, a final salute.
To all of the men who were not able to leave with us.
Hoping, he says, he's made these 50 years and counting count for them. For his family, his nation, 50 years after his second chance at life began, Wayne Waddell is at peace. In Marietta, John Sherrick, 11 Alive News.